Mai Harimai, and welcome to this webinar this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Poppy Norton and I am the Professional Programs Manager, Recruitment and Partnerships. So what that means is my role is just to help you work out a little bit more about the subjects we have on offer from the professional programs and finding out if it really matches your career goals and your objectives while you're studying here with us at Victoria University of Wellington. So today you're joining us for a webinar about our brand new Master of Business Professional. We're going to talk a little bit first about the university, about what professional programs are, and then we're going to deep dive into what the Master of Business Professional is, what subjects and courses you can take while you're doing that program. I do have my colleague behind the scenes here. Her name is Charlotte, and she'll be answering any questions that you might have while I'm talking, and she'll be doing that through the Q&A function. So if you do have questions, please feel free to send them through. If the questions are going to be answered through the webinar later on, then we might just hold off from answering those and we'll answer them live. But do definitely send through some questions and we will get to them as we go. The first thing is, though, I would love to know who you are, whereabouts you're located. So we do have a poll just to get us started. So Charlotte's going to pop that up for us on our screen. And if you can say whereabouts you're joining us from, whether it's in New Zealand, whether it's overseas, and whereabouts that might be. So we'll give you a little bit of time to answer the poll there. A couple coming through, quite a few in Wellington, fantastic. Quite a few from overseas, that's great. Brilliant. A little bit longer. Oh, there we go. I think we've got most people answered now. So we have a mix. We've got a couple of people in Wellington and overseas. So what we're going to do is there'll be you can, sorry, it still joins there. So there's a second poll which asks you about whereabouts from overseas you're joining us if you are from overseas. So we do have people joining us from India. So welcome. I think it's morning there maybe for you. As you can see out my window here, it's we're just losing the sunlight, so we are in the evening. So thank you for joining us no matter where you may be. Brilliant. So, like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the university and the professional programs before we kick into what the Master of Business Professional is. So, I'm not sure how familiar you might be with the university. So, we are from the Wellington School of Business and Government, and that is a faculty here at the university. But the university in the whole is situated in Wellington, and you hopefully can see that lovely picture at the bottom of my screen there, which shows you where we're located around the capital city. So if you can make out the Pipitier campus, I know it will look quite small on your screen, down on the bottom there, Pipitier campus, that's where we're located, that's the business school. But we do have some other campuses dotted around the city. The university itself has about 22,000 students, a really diverse range of students from about 16 years old up to about 92, I think, is our oldest student. And in the professional programs, we've got a range as well. So our youngest student is about 20 and our oldest is in their 70s, I believe. So we are quite diverse in our students across the university and in particular for the professional programs. So Wellington, for our lovely couple of overseas people, if you don't know Wellington, I do encourage you to look it up and find out a little bit about the city. We are the capital city here in New Zealand. So there's some links on the screen now to find out some more information. But although we're a capital city, it is quite compact. It's a really easy city to get around and explore. It's got a mix of being really creative and then really entrepreneurial and very strong in the business sector. So do definitely look at where you might be living and studying. But I'm going to talk, like I said, about who we are, so being the Wellington School of Business and Government. And I've zoomed in now on that picture that I was showing you before. And hopefully, if you do know Wellington and know the city, you'll be able to make out the Beehive, which is our Parliament building. You might also recognise it. It's the building behind me. You can still sneak a peek through the darkness there. But about in the centre of that picture, you'll see the Beehive and Parliament buildings. Just behind that building, you'll see a tall office-looking building, and that actually is the Wellington School of Business and Government. It's a pretty amazing place to study and work and be really in the centre of the business district here. So there's another picture. I zoomed in again, so hopefully you can see a little bit more of where we're located. So it's the tall building that you can see just by the Beehive and Parliament. So we really draw on the capital city connections that we have here at the Wellington School of Business and Government. What you'll find when you're studying, your academics will be really heavily involved in either working in industry or have had a really strong background there, or they might even be feeding in and shaping policy that's happening and being made just across the road. We also have internships in our programs or consultancy projects, as we typically call them. And that will be where you get hands-on experience going out and working with organisations around the capital city and really developing or utilising what you're learning in class and putting that into a professional business context. If you haven't been to the campus before, I do encourage you to check it out. So like I said, we're in Rutherford House at the Pipitier campus. It's a very modern building. The top image there is our library. And we're quite lucky for our professional program students. We do have dedicated resources and spaces for you to use. And so that picture at the bottom, that is our dedicated student study space. So that space is there for our students, for no matter what program you might be studying. There's individual study quiet areas, there's rooms you can book out, there's room space for collective study, there's a kitchenette, free printing, everything there to support you while you are studying. What we typically find is our students might be working while they are studying. About 80% of our students are studying part-time due to having other life commitments and work commitments. So the dedicated space is a really nice area for you to be able to shut away from the world and really focus on your studying and get to network with your other professional students. So that's quite a quick background into who we are, and please do ask more questions if you do want to find out more. I have done quite a few other webinars though that I do go into more information about what professional programs are. So if you are wanting to get some more information, I encourage you to check those out as well. But we're going to delve a little bit more into the academic side of our programs. What are the professional programs and why you might be interested in joining us in this webinar this evening. So when we talk about our professional programs, they are professionally focused postgraduate programs here at the Wellington School of Business and Government. We have 10 programs that fall underneath that heading, and we tend to categorise them, or we find they suit students particularly in certain career levels or certain career goals. So the first one that we have is a career stage for people who are wanting to kickstart their career. The programs that fall underneath this category are typically for recent graduates who might not have work experience, or people who are wanting to move into a completely different area, but they don't have a background in that at all. Then we have our change category, and that is for people who are working. You might have some years of work experience behind you, but you're interested in moving into a very different career, or you're interested in moving into an industry that you don't really have an academic background or a work experience background and want to move into that. So the Master of Business Professional does fall for some people in this category. We then have our enhanced category. So this category is for people who do have work experience behind them. They're currently working in an area or a career that they're really interested in, but they're looking at upskilling, building on their academic knowledge, building on any professional career that they might have, and really enhancing that with their future qualification to help them move up that career ladder. And again, for some of our students, the Master of Business Professional will fall really nicely in this category as well. So I'm going to talk about all of the options there and why it might suit you, whether you're thinking about changing your career, and also why it might suit you if you're thinking about enhancing and upskilling. So we're going to talk now, like I said, about the Master of Business Professional. So this program, like I said right at the very beginning, it is new for us starting in February next year. We're really excited about it because we've been doing a lot of research behind the scenes, looking into this program and reshaping some of the old ones that we have offered previously. So if you have been looking in the past and you're interested in professional economics, applied finance and information management, and you've seen that those qualifications might have started to disappear from our website, this is a qualification that is reshaping them and bringing them into this fold. Now, the reason we've done that with these qualifications is we were getting some feedback that students wanted a little bit more flexibility in their program. They wanted to specialise in particular subjects, maybe pair them with a different specialisation, but also build a really strong foundation in business and leadership and skills in those kinds of areas. So that is how our business professional was born. So the qualifications that we'll be talking through tonight, they all fall under this family that we call the Master of Business Professional. But what it means is we have 3 stages that you can move through, or 3 qualifications, and you sometimes might see we talk about this being called staircasing. And that's because your first qualification here, the postgraduate certificate, it's 4 of the master's courses. So you can decide to enroll into the postgraduate certificate from the beginning, complete this set of courses, and you could finish there if you were interested. If you did, though, want to keep moving up through the staircase, you can then add 4 courses, so 8 in total, and end up with the postgraduate diploma. And finally, if you add an additional 4 courses, you can end up with the whole master's. So the main difference between these different qualifications is really the number of courses that you'll be completing. So all courses are master's courses, they're all from that level, but it's just if you decide to take fewer, then you would be doing the postgraduate certificate or postgraduate diploma. You can enroll in either of these options or any of these options. And if you don't actually have a bachelor's degree, we do still consider people who have a really strong professional background, but we do ask that you enroll in the postgraduate certificate first. So entry into the business professional qualifications, we do require, or we do ask you to have a bachelor's degree for most of them. Like I said, to enroll straight into the master's, that's what you need, but we can talk to you if you're shy of that and talk about enrolling in that postgraduate certificate. Now, you'll see a little bit of asterisk there, which is next to our bachelor's degree. And what that refers to is that for some of our specializations, in particular the ones that have replaced our professional economics, applied finance and information management program, we do require you to have academic knowledge in those areas. For some of our other specializations, and I will go through those a little bit later, you don't have to have any academic knowledge in those areas. So we do, the kind of bottom line is we want you to have a bachelor's degree, but definitely talk to us if you're not sure if you meet the entry criteria. You'll see as well, we do require you to have at least 2 years of professional work experience. So this is why when I was talking about before, we had those different career stages, we do require students to have 2 years of professional work experience, and that helps us shape your courses and your learning. Our classes are really interactive, and although you're learning academic content, we're also teaching you professional skills and building on the professional knowledge that you already have. So it is a requirement for us to have students with that work experience. And the asterisk again does indicate for certain specializations, we do ask you to have a professional work experience in some particular areas. For our international students who are joining us this evening, you do also need to provide proof of English proficiency, and that is listed on our website if you're not too sure about that. This qualification, it starts, like I said, in February next year. So our applications are just about to open for that one. So they open in a couple of weeks on the 1st of October. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the structure of the qualifications. And I did say before that you can do your certificate, diploma or master's. And how it works is the programs overall have a mix of core courses and elective courses. Now, the core courses, they're there to give you a really strong foundation in problem solving, organizational skills, leadership skills, things like that to really help you with your professional career. The electives, they're courses for you to take interest courses, or even that's where you bring in your specialisation. So for the postgraduate certificate, if you are interested in this qualification, you're required to complete one of the core courses, and then you get to choose 3 electives. For a specialisation, it's typically 3 courses you need to complete. So you could do a specialisation in the postgraduate certificate. For our postgraduate diploma, you need to do 3 of the core courses we have available, and then 5 elective courses. And finally, for the full master's, it's 4 core courses and 8 electives. So in the master's qualification, students can choose to take 2 specializations. And I know I keep talking about specializations. I will show you what they are a little bit further. Now, the courses that we have on offer, they can be taken in a flexible order. So we don't have, for most of the subjects, we don't have set courses that you need to complete before others. For some of them we do, so we do recommend that you come and talk to us about course planning if you are interested in this qualification. But most of the time they are quite flexible. So here are the core courses that I keep talking about. So like I said, for the masters, you need to complete 4 of them. You will see 5 on my screen. So the courses are there to, like I said before, to give you that really strong foundation in business, and you can pick and choose what ones might suit your career goals better. The one at the bottom there, the interdisciplinary project, this one is a little bit different from the others where I said you can take them in a really flexible order. We do ask that you take your interdisciplinary project at the end of your qualification. And the reason for this is that this course is there to build on the knowledge, the academic and the professional knowledge that you've learned throughout your program. And then you go and work with an organisation, typically in a group with people from different specializations. You work on a project brief for them, you do a report, and then at the end of it, you've got that hands-on work experience as well. So we will find students to be most successful in this course if they do take it at the end of their qualification. So here are the specializations, and I appreciate there's quite a bit of writing on the screen, so hopefully you can read that, but there is more information on our website. If you do go to our Master of Business Professional webpage under the Study Details tab, it will give you some more information about these specializations here. And I will say before I go into more information about them, please have a look, see what ones interest you. We are really fortunate that this qualification is because it's a new one, we do have some scope to make it what students are really looking for. So we did do a lot of research before we brought this qualification out, but we still have some scope to offer certain courses. In particular, if we do get a lot of students enrolling in particular ones, we can shape the course and qualification a little bit. So we're really grateful you're joining us tonight. We are going to put a couple of polls at the end of when I've spoken through the specializations, just to find out a little bit more about what you're interested in and potentially the way that you're wanting to learn through online delivery and in person and things like that. So I will now talk about the specializations. So the first one here is financial analysis. Now you'll see my asterisks again, and that's because you do need to have a background in finance or particularly maths and things like that to be successful in this specialization. So you'll look at things like global financial markets and risk management and international corporate finance. So you'll see some of those courses listed on my screen. We also have investment management. So again, it's a similar one in the applied finance range, and that's looking at financial modelling, portfolios, and other subjects like that. And it does also require you to have a financial background, work and academic. Now we're moving on to our contemporary economics. So these next 3, these specializations I'm going to talk through are from our professional economics subjects. But the contemporary economics is a little bit different to the other 2 that I'm going to talk about, because this doesn't require you to have a background in economics. So you look at things that cover so look at economics and areas like psychology or government, public policy, geography. So you do take a variety of different courses here from a variety of different disciplines. The next one in our economic category is economic thinking, and this is what people traditionally or typically might think of with economics. So you're looking at macro, microeconomics, and looking at the applications of it. And then we have macroeconomics, which is our final specialisation in the economics pathway. And this one here is looking at areas like international trade, welfare, business cycles, and the courses they do reflect those typical areas. So I will, before I keep going, I will reiterate, so for a specialisation, if you are interested in these subjects, you do need to take 3 courses from the specialisation area, but you can also mix and match and take elective courses from different areas under the Master of Business Professional. Now, the next 2 specializations I'm going to talk to are our information management specializations. So the first one is applied data analytics. So as the name suggests, you're looking at data analytics and then about storing and accessing data. You're looking at machine learning, automation, all of these things which are really quite innovative and fast-paced in the information management area. And we also have digital transformation and leadership. So these courses are looking at cybersecurity, looking at digital systems, and then looking at things like governance in the IT sector and looking at how you can grow businesses with thinking about IT and digital tech. And my final 2 specializations that I'm going to touch on tonight are 2 specializations that don't require you to have work experience in these areas. So the first one is Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Commercialization. And you'll see on the screen that's a really wide range of things that do get covered here. So you'll look at things like management and marketing, some legal courses or topics, financial. So it's really giving you the scope and the skills to be successful in what your business venture might be. And we also have the sustainable business. So again, this is interdisciplinary. You're looking at sustainable business courses, you're looking at ethics and governance, you're looking at sustainable business in the digital world. So you will see that some of these courses have appeared in different specializations and in the ones that they're being taught in as well. So it is a really flexible qualification. You can pick and choose, like I've said, the courses and the subjects that you're interested in. You can also pair specialization, so you could be really interested in digital leadership and transformation. You have the IT background, which is 2 years of working in information management and IT sectors, but then you're also really interested in combining it with sustainable business, and you can pair those 2 specializations together. Now, something that we're quite proud of and the professional programs is that we want your qualification to be really valuable to you. We want you to take courses that you're actually going to build from and really help your career. So because we look after all of the professional programs here, we can be really flexible with looking at what courses that you're interested in taking. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, we do have 10 qualifications that fall under the professional program umbrella. And if you are really interested in subjects that technically fall from a different qualification, for example, our global business qualification, you can actually take courses from there and bring it into your Master of Business Professional. So I've popped some other subjects on the screen here of subjects that people have been asking me about lately. So don't just look at the specializations. You definitely can, but there are other options, and we can work out other specializations. For example, you could look at specializing in marketing as well. So the specializations I've gone through in more detail, they are particular to the Master of Business Professional, but you can definitely widen your scope and have a look at what's available throughout the whole Wellington School of Business and Government. So hopefully that's given you a little bit of an understanding about the specializations. I appreciate I talk quite quickly and I'm giving you a lot of information to digest in one go. What we are going to do though is take a break, so you don't have to listen to me for a little bit longer. We're going to do some polls just to find out, has there been anything that sparked your interest from the specializations this evening? So what might interest you, and also how you're interested in learning. Are you interested in coming on campus to do this qualification, or are you interested in doing it online through recorded lectures or live lectures? So we do just want to get your thoughts. So we're going to pop two polls up. They are separate, I believe. So we'll do one poll first, get everyone's thoughts, and then we'll lead with the other one. So we'll pop that poll up for you now. Oh, we've got quite a range actually coming up. Perfect. Quite a few in that information management space. Also same in financial analysis, sustainable business looking quite popular. Oh, and contemporary economics. I think we're ticking off nearly all of the specializations. So it's really exciting for us to see that lots of people are interested in lots of different areas. We are going to, I think we still have some people who haven't answered, but we'll give it 10 more seconds and then we'll move on to the next poll, which is just looking at how people might be interested in learning. Perfect. We'll shut that poll off now and we'll put the second one up there. So this next poll, like I said, is about how you're interested in learning, whether it's online, whether it's which is a live delivery, so you're zooming into classes, working with the academics and other colleagues. We've got recorded self-paced, so that's where we'd put it up, and you'll be able to interact with it in your own time, or on campus face-to-face, so you're in your classes with your other students. Got quite a mix of results coming through there. Face-to-face looking pretty popular, but then people are interested in the other two options. And you are welcome to click all that applies. So if you're happy with whatever, then feel free to let us know that as well. Perfect. We'll give this one 10 more seconds. Thank you so much for giving us your feedback. We do encourage you to do that with us. So if after this session you do want to talk a little bit more about your options, you might be not based in Wellington. I see a couple more people have joined us since we started the webinar. So if you are out of Wellington and interested in exploring your options, let us know, because then we can talk more and find out about what you're interested in and how you were interested in learning. Brilliant. So for the last 10 minutes before we break for questions, it's just thinking about your next steps, what you need to be doing if you're interested in pursuing this qualification. So there are a few things to be thinking about here. So we do have 5 kind of areas that we're going to talk through this evening. The first one is thinking about international students. Now, I know that we do have a couple of international students joining us this evening, and that we're getting a lot of questions at the moment about visa requirements, entry requirements, borders, all of those kinds of things. We have an amazing team called the Wellington University International Team, and they're there to answer all of those questions for you. They can talk about entry requirements, the English proficiency requirements that I mentioned, but then also coach you through or help you with visas, connect you with agents if you find that an easier way to go through this, and also talk about scholarships. So on the very last slide that I'm going to put up our contact details, which will have contact details for me, but then also our Wellington University International team. So if you are an international student and do want to find out more about anything I have listed on the screen here, I do recommend definitely get in touch with them and they'll be able to help you. The next thing though is looking at financing your study and looking at how much it might cost you to do these qualifications. Now the fees that I have on the screen today, they are for sorry, I've realised I've put 2020 on there. They are actually, in fact, 2021 fees. You might not find them on the website just yet. They've just been announced today. So there are approximate fees, and we will be putting out more information on the website shortly. But the fees that I have here, they are for our master's program. So if you are interested in doing the certificate and the diploma that I've mentioned a couple of times, you pay per course that you complete. So they are a little bit cheaper, but again, you can find out more information on the website. But thinking about how you're going to fund your study, we do get asked this a fair bit, and we recommend that first you look into scholarships. Now, the scholarships link that I have on the website, that link shows you all Victoria University of Wellington scholarships, and even some private scholarships that we find out about, and we put it in our scholarship database. I recommend that you have a look into this and see what's available. And we do actually have scholarships that tend to appear. So I do recommend, if you have a look today and can't find anything that suits you right now, keep having a look, because you never know what is going to come on the website. Another thing that we recommend people look into is looking through StudyLink. So this is for our domestic students. If you are interested in seeking a student loan, that's quite a common way for our students to fund their study. Then StudyLink are the people to do this through. They support undergraduate but also postgraduate students. So if you did get them for your undergraduate qualification, you'll know them very well. But jump on their website, fill out a survey, and it will tell you what you're eligible for. Typically what happens with our students is they get a loan from StudyLink up front to pay for their fees. But what happens is you pay your loan back through working. So they take a certain amount out of your pay, and a lot of our students do actually pay their qualification off, or nearly pay it off by the time they've finished studying through that system. And the final one I will mention, because I've had a couple of questions about this lately, is the fees free scheme. Now, this is for people who were right at the beginning. I said you might not have a bachelor's degree. So if you haven't got a tertiary qualification before, but you have a wealth of work experience and you're interested in studying one of our programs, then have a look on the fees free website and see if you're eligible for this one. There are other ways to thinking about finance as well. It's quite good to talk to your employer if your employer is supportive of you doing further study. And we will have a publication coming out shortly with some things or ways to approach your employer and how to ask them to provide support. That might be financial support, but what we do find quite common is people say you can have some time off to go and do your study, or more lenient around if you have busy exam periods or assignment periods and things like that. Now, looking at the application side of things, so we do have two different application processes, whether you're an international student or whether you're a domestic student. So international students, we ask that you apply with the Wellington University International. You then have your admission approved. You receive a thing called an offer of place, and then we wait for you to accept your offer of place and say, yep, you're interested in starting the program with us. Now, applications for our trimester 1 start, which is our February start for this qualification, they do close on the 1st of December. For our domestic students, it's similar. You also have to apply, but you do this by applying online. We then ask you to submit some documents, and that's your CV and your academic transcript. You then also get your admission approved, and we send this to you, and we send something called an offer of study. If you're happy with your offer of study, you click accept, and then that comes back to us and you're fully enrolled in the program. So enrolments for this program open 1st of October, and they close on the 20th of January. But I will say for this one, we do find when courses do reach capacity, we do have to stop them. So we do have some popular courses here in the professional programs portfolio of qualifications. So we do ask if you are interested in certain subjects, that it's good to enroll early. We can sort that paperwork out for you, make sure you've got all your ducks in a row, and then your application can be sorted in time. We're nearly at 6:45. We've got 1 minute to go. So if you've got one last question that you're dying to fire out, please type it in quickly. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Hopefully that's given you a little bit more information about the qualification. You can see on the screen there our contact details. So ppo@vuw.ac.nz. That's the email address for my team. And so if you do have any questions about when to start or courses, qualifications, things like that. If you are an international student, like I mentioned, Wellington University International, they're a fantastic team. They'll be able to give you lots of information about visas and scholarships and all of those kind of queries. So if you do have questions about that, the international email address that I have on the bottom is the best people to get in touch with. But like I said, thank you so much for joining me this evening. My name is Poppy. It's been a pleasure to talk you through the Master of Business Professional. And if you do have any questions, please definitely keep in touch. But otherwise, have a wonderful evening.